How's it going, everyone? Man, oh man, has this been one of the wildest stories to follow as far as Xbox titles coming to PlayStation. The rumor mill is just getting crazy, and it does seem like things are gonna be going down, and this is going to be a shift from Microsoft and Xbox going forward. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about Halo potentially coming to PlayStation 4 and 5. PlayStation 5 probably, and it's looking like that's very likely. And if you've been following our other videos on this topic, when this first became a thing and a discussion point, I had reiterated over and over again how I believe it would be absolute malpractice to not port Halo Infinite on PlayStation 5 at this point, given a wide variety of reasons, which I will certainly reiterate in this video, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. First of all, one Phil Spencer tweeted out yesterday, "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned." So obviously, where there is smoke, there has been fire, and there is going to be some reality sprinkled in to this entire story, which is just, man, this is gonna be seen back as kind of an end of an era. For a lot of people growing up the same time that I did, you know, the mid to late 2000s, where, you know, that was a big part of my formative years, and I started going online and, you know, watching other people's videos. I wasn't making videos at the time, but I was watching other people's videos, and man, the console, if you guys go back to late 2000s, the videos aren't up on YouTube anymore. I doubt they're on YouTube from a lot of these channels, but man, I was knee deep into those console war videos. Like, what could you do? That was some of the most compelling content on YouTube at that point, and YouTube was the Wild West back in the day, and people were coming at each other's throats. I mean, there's some nostalgia tied to that, but let's be honest, those days were a little bit toxic. I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of toxicity attached to that, but all of that seemingly, I don't want to say coming to an end, but really shifting, and honestly, you could go to the extent of saying it's coming to the end, because what I hear over and over again, and man, does this not feel like back in the day when Sega got out of the console business. Now, there's also a little bit of a different element attached to it, given that Microsoft has a whole different business model that they're going to be going for, and that is, of course, Xbox Game Pass. It's about selling you these subscription services, but we've debated over and over again on the viability of that, and that's something we'll talk about a lot. But let's talk about the potential of the next Halo title being released on all platforms. A new 343 Industries job listing, lead game system designer that is going to be required to set clear design goals and deliverables, focusing the system designs team on achieving a high-quality, cohesive experience for all players on all platforms. This job listing is on jobs.careers.microsoft.com. And yes, now a lot of people are also talking about the possibility and the potential of Halo coming to PlayStation, which, guys, if they're gonna move forward with this, Halo will come to PlayStation at some point. I don't know when that's gonna be, but if you're gonna be releasing all of these games and major titles onto PlayStation, you may as well release Halo on PlayStation. Halo is not a system seller anymore. The player count for Halo Infinite is not that strong. If you want to make an argument that the next mainline Halo game will be a timed exclusive to Xbox, maybe that'll be the case, but it's like, yo, are people really buying an Xbox at this point, in this day and age, to play Halo? Halo, much like Gears, and it's kind of a shame to say, has lost a lot of its momentum and its steam. Much like Gears, Halo peaked with Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach. Halo 4 was big as well, but then it started falling off. I mean, these games fell off because of the disaster that was the Xbox One, and because the game quality itself also fell off. You can make an argument as far as what is the biggest reason. I would say the biggest reason is just because, man, that Xbox One rollout will be studied upon, and you don't have to look too deep into it. It was just a train wreck. Microsoft got way too cocky and thought they could get away with anything, and I remember what Phil Spencer always says, that was something so difficult to come back from, because what happened in the Xbox One and PS4 era, that is the generation where people started building their digital game libraries, and once you have a digital game library built, it's going to be very hard to walk away from that. That's only one element. Microsoft's first party rollout and exclusives rollout has just not been strong. Games rollout has just not been strong in comparison to PlayStation. And their biggest franchises, Halo, Gears, they have lost a lot of steam. They have lost a lot of luster, and they both peaked at the same time with the second and third entry of each respective franchise. Halo with Reach as well, and even Halo 4. And then after that, once we got into the Halo and Gears titles on the Xbox One, that's where things really started falling off. However, these are still incredibly iconic franchises. Let's not get it twisted. Halo is incredibly iconic, and Gears is incredibly iconic. And the idea of Halo on PlayStation, just from a shock factor and a novelty factor, the initial Halo release on PlayStation, I believe, will be gigantic, and that's why I truly believe Halo Infinite should be coming to PlayStation 5 as soon as possible, for a wide variety of reasons. First of all, what do we always say about live service games? Halo Infinite is a free-to-play multiplayer shooter. It has a single-player campaign that you can buy, but the multiplayer aspect, which is a big part of Halo, is a free-to-play live service experience. Live service is not about selling you on a console. It is about getting you into the service. Halo Infinite is the service. How do you get more people into this service of Halo Infinite where there aren't a lot of people on Halo Infinite? You release the game on PlayStation 5 and you give that game a much needed, and I would even say much deserved, second win. Halo Infinite, when it came out back in November of 2021, it peaked at an incredibly high player count. That was never going to be sustainable. That wasn't expected to be sustainable. However, at this point, the game has fallen off so hard, and that really started because of the severe lack of content when that game initially released. But I know where Microsoft was coming from. They couldn't delay that game another year. That was supposed to be an Xbox Series launch title, delayed for a year. It would have been such a bad look to delay that game back in November of 21 that they just ended up releasing the game. But now, at this point, with all these content rollouts coming out for the game, and Halo Infinite legit being a pretty damn good game. Is it amazing? Like, I won't make that argument, but it's a pretty darn good game, but it's so hard to revitalize interest in a game when you did peak all those years ago. But how do you do that better than anything else? You drop Halo Infinite on PlayStation 5, you get the discussion going online, you get people playing it because it's a free-to-play game, and just on the basis that it's Halo on PlayStation, people are like, hey, let me check this out. And then you know what starts? The dialogue on social media starts. Word of mouth starts. And how much have we talked about in recent months that word of mouth is one of the biggest promotional tools in gaming? And I'm talking about the utilization of a promotional vehicle like word of mouth for one of the biggest IPs in gaming history in Halo. But even then, word of mouth is so incredibly powerful, especially in the case of Halo Infinite, where, you know, the game needs that word of mouth. The game needs that second wind, and I'm not saying it's gonna go back to that peak of November 2021, but what I am saying is that you could completely revitalize that game and you'll have a second opportunity, imperative word there, opportunity, to maintain interest in the game, because that is all that's gonna be, because that novelty of Halo being on PlayStation, it's gonna wear thin, just like PlayStation games coming to PC, that novelty wore thin. When Horizon initially came out on PC, it was a big deal. Then by the time Sackboy came out on PC, we didn't really care that much about PlayStation games on PC from a novelty standpoint. It was about, show me the game quality, show me the games I care about, and that's why a game like Sackboy by that time, it didn't crush it on PC, but nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. Halo Infinite on PlayStation will give them another opportunity to maintain that interest. And player counts are always gonna fall. You see people bugging out about Pal World dropping from 2 million concurrent players to 1 million concurrent players. Like, guys, 1 million concurrent players, the devs and publishers would kill for 100,000 concurrent players. Halo Infinite on Steam is at 2,000 concurrent players as I'm recording this video. If we can get that number up just a little bit, just get the dialogue going about the game, get people talking about it, then that would be incredible for 343, and it can revitalize Halo as an IP going forward. But obviously, even with that, all it offers, and let me reiterate that, is an opportunity, a second win for the game. It's ultimately going to be, can you continue rolling out quality content? Can you keep people engaged into Infinite in terms of it being a live service game when we talk about Halo going forward? Well, then obviously, I thought Infinite's campaign was really good. Let me just say that as well. Infinite's campaign I thought was really solid. But yeah, I think the campaign portion would do pretty well on PlayStation as well, and makes all the sense in the world. And then, obviously, we're completely just talking about Halo Infinite right now. Halo MCC, I mean, guys, if they released that on PlayStation, that would be remarkable. I mean, you could release that at 60 bucks still, and people would probably buy it. Again, you should probably capitalize on the novelty with the biggest IPs. It's what I worry about is this stuff about, oh, we'll release Indiana Jones 6 months after release, and we'll charge $70 for it. Yeah, like, I don't think people care about Indiana Jones like that. Maybe I'm just crapping on Indiana Jones as an IP, and people really do care about Indiana Jones. Again, sometimes when it comes to these movie franchises, I do not have my finger on the pulse on these things, but man, that Indiana Jones game to me looked mid, and I just don't think people would care if that game came out 6 months later at $70. Like, people would probably pick it up at the bargain bin if they're PlayStation only guys, but that's my 2 cents on that. MCC, on the other hand, is a totally different story, and then if they ultimately did a Gears of War collection, that would be a different story. And then you're also talking about other titles like Fable. Yeah, probably won't come out till like 2027, but you know, that's another game that I think would do pretty big. And bro, give me that Fable 2 remaster. Like, can we just start printing money, guys? Why do you guys not like printing money? Why do I get 84 remasters of The Last of Us, but I can't get something I want in Fable 2? I can't get something I want like a Ratchet & Clank Future. Just give me another Last of Us remaster, guys. But yeah, I digress. Fable 2, Halo, Gears, that's what I want to see on PlayStation. And also, drop a Forza in there as well. Forza Horizon's always a good time, and it would be interesting to have Forza and GT on the same platform, but we'll see how all of this turns out. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot more clarity come, you know, the Microsoft business meeting, the Xbox business meeting, where they outline their game plan going forward, and it will be interesting to see what kind of a turnaround time it's gonna be. If it's gonna be a timed exclusivity period with these game releases, ultimately, I think it's gonna start off as a timed exclusivity thing, but if Microsoft does start stepping out of the console realm, I could easily see it being a case of slowly we do move into day-and-date releases again, and we're talking about games like Hellblade 2 dropping on PlayStation as well. So it'll be a very interesting story to cover, and really one of the biggest gaming stories of the entire year. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.